So, thank you guys for coming in. Want you guys to feel comfortable. I know that the reason you're coming isn't that easy necessarily, and you know the most important thing is that in this room that we can have more truth than usually is able to be there, because I'm going to look after whatever it is that goes on in the way of what would usually end up with an escalation, because I'm going to be the referee who goes, time out, let's slow this down, we might need to slow down, we might need to separate for a moment. I'm going to be showing you where whatever's going on is either ineffective or insensitive. And before we even get into any of that, it's useful to just get a weather report. Just getting to this point can take quite a bit. Each of you have got your own reasons for being here. But before we even go into any notions of where you're wanting to get to or what outcome you want, it'd be useful to just get a sense of what's the weather report, how is it to just be in the room. And I'm never interested in one thing. I'm interested in all the different things, hopes, aspirations, fears, concerns, but mainly just how is it for you to be sitting in this room? What are you feeling, thinking? What are your worst case scenarios that you're worried about? Any of that sort of thing. And either of you can go first.
Well, worst case scenario is that we split up.
Yeah, I get that. And I'm imagining that that's not the first time that thought has entered either your or the conversation. Yeah. So good on you for getting here. What else?
Whether he's going to tell the truth or not is another thing.
Right. Okay. So, truth. That's a tough one to nail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Any other, just like, how do you feel about being in the room? Comfortable, uncomfortable, hopeful, concerned?
Worried.
Worried. Would you be able to put a finger on what you're worried about? What do you think is going to happen in the next hour or so?
He'll probably just bag me out and make up stuff that's not really true and dominate it and make out he's the really nice one and he's not.
Okay. So what I'm going to be doing is, as soon as anyone's using a method that's not either effective or sensitive, I'm going to be going time out, and we're going to be noticing, okay, how do we deal with that? Because that's probably the thing that you get to and that you're not able to deal with yet. So I'll be slowing things down. Any other things for you?
Oh, I'm just thinking that, truth, or I think that my concern is that exactly that I'm speaking the truth. But I'm just not getting through really about what I want.
Sure.
And it is all about what he wants.
Yeah. Now, one of the things we're going to be doing is, going through the conflict navigation guide, which is the do's and don'ts of how to maximise the likelihood of being able to navigate a conflict effectively. And one of the things is to let each other finish. So if you need pen and paper, because I know it's hard, you go, I'll forget if I don't butt in now. We'll give you a bit of paper so that you can do that in order to let the other person finish. Okay? So now if we kind of ask that fateful question, which is on a certain level what my job is, or what our job as a therapeutic alliance, the three of us, which is what outcome would each of you want? And I mean this individually. It's easy to kind of talk in terms of we and us, but actually to go, if I walked out of here after one resilience sessions and go, thanks Bhakti, I got exactly what I wanted, what would that be?
Him to change.
Yeah, okay. So if we go down the road of him to change, what exactly would those changes be? I want to tell you ahead of time, I've had very little luck with my magic wand. It doesn't seem to just magically change people. But I think it is possible if you let me know what the change is, we might be able to help you in some other ways. Because I'm imagining you've been trying to change him for as long as you've been in a relationship and it hasn't worked yet. Is that accurate? Yeah, okay. What's the change you want?
I just want him to be nicer.
Yeah, so tell me what it is that he does that's not nice.
He shouts.
Ah, okay. So shouting.
He drives fast. He doesn't slow down when I ask him to. He works long hours. He seems angry all the time.
And when he's angry, what behaviours does he do?
Very controlling.
Yeah, how does he control?
Forceful.
With his
Voice.
voice. So other forms of shouting. In
Yeah,
other
and
words,
just, controlling.
tone.
We're going to do the tone.
a tone
Yep.
that's
He has a
aimed
tone.
at compliance. He wants you to comply.
Yes.
Yes. Cool.
And it's like over really little things.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Not
To
me.
you. And probably not seeming so little to him. However, can you see that the issue that we're trying to work with here is getting you to notice that there's a method that he uses called raising his voice, using a tone that's aim is to intimidate, to make you frightened, and it kind of works. And that's what we can deal with, because what I'm going to be able to help you with is how to set and enforce limits as soon as that tone is there,
Okay.
so that when he's doing that, you can go, like in the conflict navigation guide, that's voice raising, that's an intimidating tone. Can you use a civil or friendly tone, or I'm going to my room, I'll come back when you're not doing that. And can you see that doesn't actually require him to change. He can be triggered, you can go away. Then when he's ready to talk about the subject matter, which we know is important to him, not small for him, as long as he's willing and able, and that's what I can help him do, to use a civil or friendly tone instead of the intimidating one, then you're going to be there and you're likely to get further along the road in the navigation. Yes?
Cool.
Okay. What about for you?
Well, it doesn't matter what tone I use. I've tried everything.
Yeah, I'm sure
So
you have.
It makes no difference.
Yeah. But what outcome are you after?
The outcome would be that I feel a bit more valued.
You want to feel valued?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you notice that feeling valued is something that's actually internal? In other words, I'm going to guess that you actually want her to value you by doing and saying certain things.
Yep.
There are reasons
Yep.
why you don't feel valued in the
Mhm.
relationship.
Yep.
Could you tell me what they are?
Well, if, Cherokins, I'm always at work and doing long hours, and I'm never there. When I am there, I make great efforts, and then we agree on something, because we're going away for the weekend, and so, well, I'm going to be at work, can you be ready at 6, and 8:30, still busy, then, I'm patient for a while, and then 6 turns to 7, 7 turns to 8, and it gets disregarded. Is that because she's not
So it's at those
organised
moments
enough.
that you don't feel like she's valuing you.
No,
she's making you wait.
because we talked about it prior to that and said, okay, is that, yeah, definitely 6 o'clock, okay, ready, all good. And she knows that it triggers me. And I think it's punctuality, I think it's just being organised, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And it's just time and time fails.
Yes.
Because she can't get ready.
Yeah. So
It's called having a life and getting my work done.
but-
And
Don't promise anything or don't.
Now let me just
I'm
pause you
tolerant.
for a
I reckon
moment
I'm
there.
tolerant enough.
Can I just
You
pause
know,
you for a
6,
moment?
7
Sven?
o'clock, I'm still patient.
Just
patient.
You-
He's like,
can I get both of you just for a moment to pause? Because already there's some really important information you're about to miss. And this is likely to be the sort of stuff that's going to end up in an escalation because no one's listening to each other anymore. You're just literally firing missiles at each other of what I imagine, you've been together quite a few years, is ammunition that each of you has on each other that of course get fired as soon as the other one fires them. So let's come back to that moment, which is when you aren't ready at 6 o'clock, as you said you would be, Sven's feeling not valued. Now, you're calling it having a life, but if we kind of come back to, there's a moment there where you're agreeing to be ready at 6, yes? But then life happens, yes?
Mm-hmm.
Now, would it be accurate to say that life happens for you too? Sometimes what you thought was going to happen...
There's no communication around it.
Exactly.
At least let me know.
Exactly.
But there's nothing.
So,
you get there and
yes.
it's, oh, okay.
Yes. So, can you see that one of the things would be that as soon as you know that you're not going to be able to do the 6 o'clock, that you could let him know, yes?
Mm-hmm.
But before we even go into the details of that, do you notice that each of you do certain things, like you tutter and put your eyes to the ceiling, and you kind of what would be called harumph. In other words, there's a... Now, can you see that each of those signals, behind them, if you were actually to turn them into words, they would say things. And because you've been together quite a while, you probably noticed that each of them implies a criticism. Are you able to notice that the kind of, oh, do you want me to translate what it usually means? You effing some so-and-so. And do you notice that in that moment when you're doing that there's an implied criticism there of, oh, here we go again. Are you able to notice that? Yeah. So what I'm going to get you to do is actually to take the content of that, which is, it's very difficult for me when this happens repetitively. Now, you will have seen in the conflict navigation guide that you're not allowed to bring up past incidents. So if you're going to deal with an incident, you're going to deal with one of the examples of wanting to be ready at 6, not being ready at 6, in order to get exactly where you are now, which is the clarity that if you were to let me know I'm not going to be able to make it at 6 because I had to take the dog to the vet or whatever it is, that's going to make a difference because all of a sudden he's feeling valued. Do you follow? Mm-hmm. But if you bring up all the other times that this has happened, you never get any result with this one.
All the time.
Yeah, look, the words in relationship to try to avoid are always and never. Always allow that there's about 8 hours a day that you're doing something else, which is called sleeping, which means no one's doing anything always. Yes? Now, if I was able to show you how to navigate the conflict without the implied criticisms, is it accurate to say that when he's looking at the ground harumphing, there's not a lot of feeling like you want to continue navigating the conflict? And would it be the same when she's putting her eyes to heaven and tuttering? Doesn't make you want to continue the conversation. Is this accurate? So if I was able to help you to notice what happens when you get triggered, because these are both mechanisms, it's called adolescent mechanism, where you're using something to try to get the other person to comply. And it doesn't matter whether it's, will you shut the heck up, or whether it's a look or a harumph. It's still, can you see how much you're upsetting me and I'm hoping that this will stop you doing it? Now, how effective has that been in the years you've been together? I'm going to suggest probably 0, which is why you're sitting here. when you understand that these are mechanisms and we get triggered into them, and this is, you can hear, this is what parents did with us, didn't they? They got very, oh my God, they're doing it again, which is why it's our normal. Even though you started off loving each other, you started off going, well, let's resolve our conflicts, then you hit these landmines. And if you're not aware what you're getting triggered by, what your body ends up doing, that you would not do to your best friend, would you? You would not do to yours. Mm-hmm. Is this accurate? We get triggered, we end up doing this stuff to the people we love most on the planet. Why? Because our modelling is the people who loved us the most on the planet did it with us. And I'm going to show you how it ends up being an adolescent mechanism, an externalization of that because we're adults, and what's underneath that, which is what we had to do when we were kids, which was override our ability to go, hey, can you stop using this insensitive method with me? We couldn't do that because it's the dependent stage of childhood. So we have to suck it up. We end up with an internalized parent who goes, don't do this or they won't feed you tomorrow. What do you notice pops out with each other? Why can't you be different? Why can't you be better? And of course, insensitive methods, not what you started off with when you first got together and each of you were the apple of each other's eye. So what I'm going to do is get each of you individually to work and understand why that trigger's there, how it got there, what it's trying to do in the way of healing trying to happen, what it's trying to force out, because you can usually ignore this stuff on your own, but relationship, the very thing that attracts you in the first place, is what has an equal and opposite back room. You'll be attracted to what's fabulous. Then all the stuff that you've got in your backpack that you didn't put there in the first place anyway is going to pop out eventually once the gloves are off. And this is your second bite at the cherry, to actually use the relationship to deal with what's never got dealt with, deal with what's never got dealt with, so that you can come back and then navigate your conflict like adults. You'll still get triggered. You'll still need to be able to go, stop doing that, or I'm going to my room, and then I'll come back. Let me know when you're not doing that. But you'll be able to stay on the subject matter of the conflict rather than all you end up with escalations. How many arguments have you had by the end of it? You have no idea what it was when it started. That's all about method and behaviour. And I'll work with each of you and then bring you back to see what you're able to do differently when you're not using these methods, when you're not talking over each other, when you're not throwing missiles, when you're actually just talking about the subject matter. Yes? Okay. Thanks for your time.
Sounds good.
Excellent. Okay.